Here we see a U.S. dollar to Canadian dollar chart spanning 1990 through 2004. As we can see here, George H.W. Bush gets booted after serving 1989 through 1993 and lowering the value of the U.S. dollar against the Canadian dollar. And then President Bill Clinton starts his term, and the dollar again climbs way up so you can buy more with it in Canada. And then President Bill Clinton ends his term with the dollar worth an enormous amount against the Canadian dollar. And then moron George W. Bush starts his disastrous term. As soon as he begins, the value's dollar against the Canadian dollar plummets, as it's continued to do, starting an unstoppable cycle of downturns. Of course, to our economy and stock market as well. He pretty much destroyed those and left America for dead. And here we see where moron Bush starts in 2001 on a chart that gives the value of the U.S. dollar up until present in 2009. We can see the ups and downs and then the horrible decline, where after 6 years of Republican policies, resulting in the value of the dollar becoming worth just about what a shoe tongue is worth. Here we see the Bush term and the chart of the value of the U.S. dollar, relationship to the Bush term. We see that when Bush comes in, it's not so bad. It's way up there, worth about $1.15 or 20 cents. And then it spikes very quickly after a few of the very clever Bush schemes, like price of oil going up after the innocent people of Iraq were killed in his illegal attack. And then, of course, we see the huge drop, and then a huge plummet, leaving America with a dollar worth about 2 pieces of straw and a bit of yarn. Good job, George Bush. You earned your keep. Not really. And here we see the final chart of where moron George Bush left office and our current president, Barack Obama, took over. Of course, the value of the dollar improves immediately. And as we begin to look at the big picture after President Barack Obama, we see the dollar is very volatile after the enormous damage caused by moron George Bush, who outsourced many of Americans' jobs for corporate benefits given to the super elite and the ultra-rich, tax breaks and other manipulations to give them great wealth, where the majority of Americans suffered the great loss. Just the medical and health care costs of the 35,000 U.S. troops injured in Iraq may exceed several $billion. In fact, it could go as high as $30 or $40 billion, given the rising costs of health care. So, Americans, you should be proud and thankful and respectful of your former thing, George W. Bush, who destroyed your economy, created the greatest unemployment in history since idiot Ronald Reagan in the Great Depression, and caused trillions in new debt to the United States of America, and also caused the dollar to collapse, as well as our credit, mortgage, finance, banking, and stock markets. So direct all your praise to George Bush, the moron behind the collapse.